Hello and welcome to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy, and no, you're not having deja vu. Or maybe you are. Who knows? Is this a dream? No, it's actually the first bottle I'm going to have is showcasing in my revisiting series. Now, in the revisiting series, I'm going to go back roughly about a year ago to where I started my whiskey journey. These are the first bottles of Scotch that I've ever had. And I feel like now that I have a more refined palate and more understanding and a greater appreciation for the libations, I feel like some of these bottles I did not give a fair enough shake. So there's a few caveats, a few parameters which I like to place upon this series, the revisiting series, is I want to keep things relatively within the $20 range. So give or take a few dollars from the $20 range mark. I'm also going to say that these were basically bottom shelf whiskeys. I'm so glad I'm not going to have to hear that damn dog anymore. We are literally days away. So I'm not going to hear that dog anymore. But today we're going to be doing an off-the-rip revisiting of Cutty Sark. So Cutty Sark blended Scotch whiskey comes in at 40% alcohol by volume. I got to tell you that this whiskey, this Scotch, was mostly underrated as far as I knew going in. But off the rip, the first one, I didn't care too much for it. Didn't care too much for it to the halfway mark. But it was somewhere here in the bottom third of the bottle that I actually had a greater appreciation for the Cutty Sark. Now, the full review, if we'll do the quick rundown, part one, off the rip, get it home, crack it open, pour it in the glass, have my first impressions, share it with you. Part two is the full, halfway mark-ish, where we're going to do the full review. I'm going to go back, revisit all the information, see if anything has changed. Probably not, but there it is. We're going to do that, and we're going to share it. Third part, all the way down here, the final pour, thusly named, we're going to have that final pour, compare it to today's first pour, and everything in between. So, Cutty Sark, let's get it under the nose. Relatively light off the rip when it comes to the nose. You're definitely getting some light, sweet fruit, some like light fruit, white fruit. Now, I'm not going to go off of my previous review. I'm going to give it a fresh, whole new look. I'm not going to look back on the old reviews. I'm just going to start it as if it was the first time I've done this. I want to see how well things have changed. Because this review series is based off of bottles that I tried, didn't like, don't think I gave it a fair shake, but ultimately in the end, ended up liking it. So that was enough for me to go back and want to revisit it. So I'm not going to redo every single bottle I did, just the ones I feel like I sort of didn't give it a fair enough shake. But in the end, like I said, ended up liking it anyways. So Cutty Sark on the nose, very light. There's some honey and some light fruit deep in there. I can really get the characters now. I'm really accustomed to good Scotch. Cutty Sark is quality blended Scotch. I know the blended Scotch isn't exactly everyone's bag, but hey, once you've become accustomed to Scotch, once you've got acquainted, once you have a better understanding and appreciation for quality Scotch, you start to know what good Scotch is. Now, don't let the place that it sits on the bottom shelf or the price tag they place upon it, don't let that fool you. I've read books with no covers, not knowing the title of the book, and loved it. A few of those books I've never known what the title of that book is, and that's a shame. I guess that mystery will hold true till the end of Mr. Randy's days. So let's go ahead and get on the first palate. That first palate, as we come to know, that dog's just going to bark for hours. He heard me. He heard my baritone type of voice resonate, and he comes running over to my window, and he's going to sit over there long after I finish doing this video. So with that first one out of the way, let's get the second one on. So it's soft, just a little bit of spicy, just a little bit. I get a little bit in the gums now, most of the tongue, nothing setting up the back, but we'll save that till we get to the finish. Now, I do believe I mentioned one of the parameters is going to be roughly about the $20 mark. I want these to be accessible to just about anybody with $20 can get a good bottle of Scotch. Also, the second part, as I mentioned, I want it to be one I didn't exactly care too much for the first half or even the first 3/4. But after that point, it really sort of grew on me, and I really decided to change my mind on how this works. So let's go ahead and get that finish done. It's a little heavy-handed. I wouldn't necessarily say rough around the edges. I'd say it's a little heavy-handed of certain aspects. But I do believe, I understand now, about roughly the halfway point, when we get back here to the full review, it's going to be much better than it is right now. It'll be toned down just a little bit. Those rough edges will be sort of rounded off. It'll be more mellow and smooth. I hope you join me back there again for part 2, the full review, Cutty Sark Revisited. So again, I'm going to ask you, please leave the comments, your opinions, in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. Have a good one.